Let's talk to Brendan O'Neill now. He's editor of Spiked Online. Brendan, we definitely seem to have the culture wars and cancel culture very much impacting on our sporting life at the moment when it comes to the cricketer Ollie Robinson and, of course, also England footballers taking the knee. Let's talk about Ollie Robinson first. What did you make of the Prime Minister and the Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, weighing in, criticising the English and Wales Cricket Board for suspending Ollie Robinson for tweets he wrote when he was 18 years old 8 years ago?
I was really glad to see it. I thought this was a useful intervention, and I actually hope they do it more and more in relation to cancel culture. You know, we're always told that cancel culture doesn't exist. Well, for something that doesn't exist, it seems to happen an awful lot. And I think Ollie Robinson is a good example of just how vicious and unforgiving cancel culture can be. This is a young man being punished for things he wrote when he was in his late teens, stupid tweets, suspended from cricket for a period of time. This is an unfair punishment for something that someone did when he was a kid, basically, or, you know, just about an adult, but not really a proper adult.
It is strange, isn't it? Very much the people who seem to be the most horrified by any words that have been written or spoken seem to be the same people who are very much about forgiveness when it comes to, I don't know, I mean, just an example, the front page of the papers today, you know, a man who's raped and killed two teenagers. You must be able to rehabilitate when it comes to Islamist terrorists. It's very important these people are rehabilitated, and we don't, you know, condemn people for life. You write a few tweets. Whoa, oh, well, that's beyond the pale.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, an even better comparison is Shamima Begum. You know, yesterday, lots of people were saying when Oliver Dowden said, look, he was a young kid when he wrote these tweets, let's forgive him. People were saying, well, shall we forgive Shamima Begum? They actually cannot see the difference between a young woman who joined a fascist death cult that was beheading Christians and throwing homosexuals off buildings, and a young man who wrote some stupid sexist and borderline racist
but
tweets.
Words, but Brendan, for these people, words and actions are equally bad and equally are violent.
Well, that's what's becoming clear now. You know, they're so obsessed with words. They're so obsessed with this idea that words hurt, that words can erase you, that words are painful and damaging to one's self-esteem. They're so obsessed with that idea that they do now see words as being like violence. The scary thing about that, of course, is if you think words are violence, then you will think that violence is a understandable response to words. And that's what worries me most about this culture of censorship. I mean, that's what we saw with the Charlie Hebdo case most graphically. You know, if you think that insulting the Prophet Muhammad is an act of violence against Muslim communities, then some extremists are going to take action against those words. We have to be so careful with this culture of censorship because it is really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with the Culture Secretary, what he had to say. Look, don't disagree with what someone said. He thinks it's wrong. But you know, forgiveness, you know, 18 years ago, very few of us. I mean, thank goodness I didn't have Twitter when I was 18 years old. People said to me, oh, you're defending him, you're defending racist tweets. No one's defending racist tweets, but I'm still going to stand up. I'm sorry, those tweets about women were not sexist. Making jokes about women and sex and class and things is not sexist. You're allowed to talk about other people and you're allowed to say derogatory things about women. I'm sorry, you are. Women say derogatory things about men all the time. I mean, hey, if you're married, you do it probably every day. Let's also talk about footballers, though. We got the lecture from Gareth Southgate, a man who genuinely have a lot of time for, the England manager, basically saying, look, you know, this is the reason why our players are taking the knee before international matches. And the more, you know, people boo, in a way, you know, we need to educate people not to boo. Typical patronising reaction that basically the people who are booing, the implication is, you're racist. You don't want people taking a stand against racism. When you and I and all of the people doing that booing know perfectly well that's not why they're booing.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm so disappointed in Gareth Southgate because he's really doubling down on this. He's not listening to the fans who are obviously not happy with the virtue signalling spectacle that now starts at every game. He's not listening to them. He's brushing them aside. He's implying that they are racist, and he's going to carry on with taking the knee. People who boo the taking of the knee, for the most part, in my view, they are not being racist. They are expressing their opposition to the politicization of football, to the Black Lives Matter ideology, not the idea that Black Lives Matter. Everyone agrees with that. You know, these are the kind of people who cheer black players all the time, whose kids worship black players. These are not racist people. They are just sick and tired of being lectured at every game by the woke elites about racism and all sorts of other issues. They want football. They don't want a patronising lecture.
Oh, amen to all of that. Brendan O'Neill, Spiked Online.